Oh, Tom, my favorite value for money asset. What brings you in?
I'm here to hand in my 2 weeks notice.
2 weeks? 2 weeks. Tom. We're a family. You don't need to give notice to your family. How about this? A clean break. Just go now. We'll call it even.
Will I still get paid out for my notice?
Paid? For not working? That's not how a family works. Tom.
No, actually, I will be giving proper notice, and I'm going to check my award and agreement as well.
That's still very loyal of you.
Well, neither was underpaying me the last 6 months. Bosses loved when you don't know your rights. So let's fix that. Here's how to leave your job without getting screwed. Are you thinking about quitting your job in a fiery blaze of glory, burning all bridges on your way out? As much as your boss probably deserves it, we're here to explain why that might not be the best idea. There's a lot a boss can do to mess with you, even after you quit. Your boss has responsibilities to you, but you also have responsibilities to your boss, no matter who's decided to end the relationship. If you don't give the correct notice, your boss can withhold your final pay. Yes, they can actually do that. Your notice period depends on how long you've worked somewhere, but it's not one size fits all. Here's the general rule under the National Employment Standards. But not all jobs have the same rules on notice. To find the right notice period for your job, you need to check whether you are on an award or an agreement. If you don't know how to do that, check out our resources linked in the description. Whatever the notice period is for you, it must be paid, even if you're stopping work immediately. If you give 2 weeks notice, then you should be paid 2 weeks wages, even if your employer says you don't have to work during those 2 weeks. It's completely up to them whether you have to work during your notice period. But that's not the only thing that your employer decides. Sometimes it's your boss who decides to end your employment.
Fired. But I...
With a dismissal or a redundancy. And that's where the United Workers Union, that's us, comes in. Check out the links below for more information on that. But let's get to the good bit. Your final pay. This is where bosses can sometimes try to rip you off. So here is what you are actually entitled to. First off, if you've given proper notice, your boss has to pay it out, even if they tell you not to bother coming in.
Let's just call it even.
Paying you for your notice period isn't your boss doing you a solid. It's the law. Now to leave entitlements. You are still entitled to be paid out any annual leave you haven't taken. And if leave loading applies, then that too. If you've got toil, that's time off in lieu, that should be paid out as well. Long service leave, if you've been around long enough, it's yours. But what about if you're made redundant? Well, then you should also get a redundancy payout. Just keep in mind, most of the time, any remaining personal leave or carer's leave won't get paid out. But before you ride off into the sunset with your final payslip in hand, here are a few smart moves to make on your way out. If you've got a lot of leave saved up, why not take a holiday before you quit? Because you still accrue leave while you're on leave. If you need a reference, you should ask while you're still in the good books. Trying to get one when you're yesterday's news, months later, good luck with that. And finally, check your super. Just because you see it on your payslip doesn't mean that it's been paid. Bosses only have to pay your super every 3 months, until July 2026 when payday super comes in. That's another union win. Make sure you log into your super account directly and check whether it's landed. Because chasing it up in 5 years sounds like a full-time job. So call us instead. All these potential issues are a great reason to maintain your union membership when you give your notice, because you just might need us.
Looking for a passionate team player willing to work weekends, public holidays, Christmas, and 29th of February every year? Must provide own tools, insurance, and toilet paper. We value work-life balance. That's why we don't believe in rosters. Position available: cleaner, therapist, receptionist, driver, HR manager, $23 an hour, 10 years experience minimum.
Have you seen job ads a little bit like these? Well, you're not alone. Let's break down how to spot red flags and green flags when looking for a new job. We'll start with the red flags. Are there enough staff to do the job? Sometimes just visiting the workplace can tell you this. Is the pay right? You should always check the pay offer against the award relevant to that job. Do they have a toxic culture? Check for bad reviews on glassdoor.com. Reviews like, "You'll need to keep a second job ready since the management goes from bad to worse, or pay won't be enough." Need to change your attitude towards employees and stop hiring washouts as middle managers. They make it worse for you. Have you seen the same job ad popping up again and again? Maybe skip that one. There's probably a good reason why it keeps getting posted. Finally, you should always be wary of jobs requiring advanced skills but offering very low pay. Now, here are some good signs to look out for. Is there a union presence on site? A delegate or health and safety officer? Maybe some flyers and safety warnings in the staff area. This is definitely a green flag. Do the workers seem actually happy? That is another great sign. Do they provide a lot more information about the job or a full job description? That's another green flag. Lastly, is there an enterprise agreement? That is an agreement between the boss and the workers. This sets the wages and conditions and is typically negotiated by unions. Read that agreement and get to know all your entitlements. Look out for leave entitlements like parental leave, as well as superannuation above the minimum 12%. An enterprise agreement is usually a sign that there's a strong and active union on site, and that is exactly what you want at your new job. Congratulations on landing your interview. But sometimes the job you applied for isn't the job you end up getting. So before you sign anything, let's decode some classic boss speak. Just gotta turn on the old trusty boss translator.
Boss translator activated.
Yes. Thanks for coming in. Congratulations on your exciting opportunity. Which one are you again?
I'm Tom. Would you mind if I asked you a couple of questions about the job?
You know, I love that initiative, Tim. Let me just get your contract over here. You also, is this a casual role? Technically, it's permanent but casual. We call it perm-casual. It's the best of both worlds, you see. You don't need to keep track of leave, and you get to work every day. Unless we don't give you, of course.
Boss translator. BS detected.
So you get none of the benefits of permanency and no guarantee of shifts either. Try asking this. Is the job full-time, part-time, or casual? Is it ongoing or fixed term? And will you be paying award wages or...
Awards? Yes. We've won plenty, but, swear. And we always pay wages eventually.
Translator. We're hoping you won't check.
They're either guessing your pay rate, underpaying, or both. Instead, ask, what's the exact hourly rate? What award or agreement am I covered under? What classification is my role?
We prefer to pay in cash for your convenience, of course. She doesn't prefer cash. And that way you don't have to pay taxes.
Translator. We don't want to pay your super.
Employers can legally pay you in cash, but have to provide you a payslip and your superannuation. Not in cash, of course. This is a red flag though, and they might want to do you dodgy and rip you off. And they don't want any records lying around so they can be caught. Try asking, what is the superannuation rate? Is it at least 12%? That's the legal minimum, so don't accept less.
It says under duties. Briefing. Plenty of upward mobility. You could even have my job one day if you work hard enough.
Translator. We won't train you, but we will blame you.
They'll dump whatever they want on you and call it teamwork. Always ask, what are my actual responsibilities? Is there a position description? You should know what the job actually entails.
Yeah, it's just, there isn't anything about holidays in this contract. Holidays? Holidays, Tan. You haven't even started and you're already talking about Christmas.
Translator will make you feel guilty for using leave.
They'll act like you're letting the team down when you take a sick day. They might even make you find your own replacement when you're too sick to work. Always check how much annual leave, personal leave, and carer's leave am I entitled to? And yes, they have to answer that. There are legal minimums.
Are there any hazards I should be aware of? What are your workplace health and safety policies? We use a common sense approach to safety. It's worked well for us so far. We're very big on common sense here.
Translator, we haven't done a risk assessment in years.
You're on your own. Try asking, will I get a safety induction? Is there a health and safety rep on site? If the answer is no, you probably already know what to do. Call your union. Look, we're not saying don't take the job. What we are saying is, if you get a job offer, read the contract and ask questions so you know what you're signing up for. If they get cagey, or if they avoid answering, they've got something to hide. Better to be safe than sorry. Join your union before your first shift.
Boss translator deactivated.
So, it's your first aid. You're nervous. It's totally normal. We prepared a little checklist to make sure that everything runs smoother. Come on. So first, you need to get the lay of the land. Where's the best coffee? Who's been here the longest? What's the dress code?
Make sure you know, when's payday? What are your duties officially? When does your shift start and end? Who is your supervisor? Will there be training? How do you call in sick? How do you swap a shift or change your roster? Is there a union rep on site? Do they have an employee assistance program?
And then there's the official stuff.
Stuff that bosses sometimes forget. You should always get a safety induction. Every job, every site. And your employer must give you a copy of the Fair Work Information Statement. If you're casual, they also need to give you the Casual Employment Information Statement. Didn't get them? Ask a union delegate. If you don't know who that is, you'll want to find out.
And if you're not already a union member, you want to sign up as soon as possible to make sure that you're covered if anything happens. Starting a new job doesn't have to be stressful, especially when you know your rights and when the union has your back. If you still have questions, check out our resources in the caption. And if you found this helpful, do the YouTube things. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. If you know someone who's starting a new job, send this to them. Because remember, bosses love it when you don't know your rights.